Buon inizio settimana a tutti con Smarty Pants. Oggi, lunedì 27 febbraio, c'è un grande ritorno su Teleblogo. Visto il successo riscosso della puntata del 23 febbraio sull'open source, abbiamo deciso di proporvi un upgrade. Le nostre telecamere, il nostro bellissimo Fulvio, in compagnia di Sara Rigone, un'altra donna che tenta di farmi le scarpe, sicuramente.
Serena, lei parla inglese.
Le nostre telecamere, dicevo, sono ritornate a intervistare Stallman per approfondire il discorso di free software. Vediamo il servizio.
Free software means the user of the software has 4 essential freedoms. And these are freedom 0, the freedom to run the program as you wish for whatever purpose. Freedom 1 is the freedom to study the source code of the program and change it to do what you wish. Freedom 2 is the freedom to help your neighbor. That's the freedom to make copies and distribute them to others when you wish. And freedom 3 is the freedom to help your community. That's the freedom to publish or distribute modified versions when you wish. In order to make a program free software, you have to give people permission to exercise the 4 freedoms. Well, any license that gives people the 4 freedoms is a free software license. I wrote one called the GNU General Public License. It's the most popular free software license. It's used for about 70% of all free software. And this license has a special feature, which we call copyleft. Copyleft says every version you distribute must come with the same freedoms, with the same license. GPL version 3 is simply a revision of GPL version 2, and what we're changing are details. And some of these details are designed to fight against the threat that our software will be perverted to impose restrictions on the user. That is known as Digital Restrictions Management, or DRM. What is DRM? Well, you may have heard a few months ago Sony got in trouble for distributing fake CDs that installed nasty software into the computer that tried to disguise its presence. It made itself hard to remove. It destroyed the security of the computer it's installed on. It acts in most ways like a computer virus. And this was spread onto millions of computers all around the world by Sony. What was the motive for Sony to do all those nasty things? Their motive was to stop people from copying the music and restrict how people can use the music. That's digital restrictions management. So GPL version 3 has a requirement that says the distributor must give you the necessary keys or codes or whatever is required so that if you modify the program, you can tell your machine it should run your modified version. And this means that the freedom number 1, the freedom to study the code and change it to do what you want, must be real and not a sham. I think that governments should make DRM illegal. It's that simple. When companies conspire, and this is how they do it, a few companies make a plan, they say, we'll design this technology and anyone who wants to participate must sign a contract with us promising to restrict the public. This should be illegal. This should be called unfair competition. And any companies doing this should be put on trial and stopped. So what the public has to do, aside from constantly demanding this sort of action from governments, is refuse to buy anything you can't copy. The GNU GPL gives you the freedom to distribute copies of the program, and that includes selling them. So you are free to sell copies, but it's more common nowadays to sell support, and everyone's free to sell support. One advantage socially of free software is that it brings a free market for support, because anyone who gets a copy can study the source code and learn about the program and offer support. There are now tens of millions of computers running free operating systems, and more tens of millions running some free software. However, what we have not yet done is taught people to recognize these 4 freedoms as the essential human rights of every computer user. when people recognize that and start rejecting software that will trample their human rights, then we'll really win. Because that's our goal, the liberation of cyberspace and all of its inhabitants.
Bene, per oggi è tutto, l'appuntamento è per domani, ore 11, stesso studio, stesso Teleblogo. Fulvio,
Sì,
cosa fai stasera?
usciamo.
Sono già pronta! Che bello! Via!
Via Quincy, andiamo.
Poi ci sentiamo.
Fuggiamo insieme.